Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here in the lovely World of Raccoons with me, Vanillaraccoon. Heyo! And in this episode, we are going to be stepping out of our comfort zone by beginning a few new mini projects here in the end dimension. Now, whether or not we are able to complete them all within this single episode is completely up in the air. However, all that really matters to me, at least, is being able to say that I had begun them. So the first thing that I would like to do is redesign the two structures that we have right here. In my most recent Mixer live stream, I had gotten my build on and started to build these, but shortly after the live stream had come to an end, I took a moment to sit back and look at what I had built and became dissatisfied with how they look. So then I hopped into a single player Let's Build world, got my build on there, and came up with a design that I am really happy with. However, at this time, I don't have the proper resources that I would need in order to create parts of the materials that we're going to need to redesign those two structures with. So that's why over here I just took my chorus flowers, placed them in the ground, and with time and patience I'm letting them grow up to become big and strong chorus trees. So then we can take our little old axe, chop the base of it, and then watch them fall down just like that. And of course it wouldn't be environmental friendly of me to not place another chorus flower down where the previous one sat at. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we're able to replant the tree so that way we can be eco-friendly here within the end. But then once we've gone ahead and redesigned those two structures right there, we're going to travel quite a ways out into the void, because that is where we're going to be establishing our Ender 3.0. Now, upon the recording of this video, the channel sits at 1,413 subscribers. And first things first, thank yous ever so much to those who subscribe and give the video some love. It truly means the world to me knowing that people out there are watching these videos and enjoying them by leaving likes, sharing them with their fellow peeps, and then when they're able to, if they'd like to, provide a nice little comment in the comment section down below. However, when I had first noticed that the channel was sitting at 1,399 subscribers, I took to Twitter and saying that whoever is the 1,400th subscriber and is able to provide photographic evidence of this, then I will give you a special prize as a form of thanks for it. So, I'm probably and most likely going to butcher your name, so I sincerely apologize in advance. But Mr. AUBNI, I think I'm saying your name right. Thank you for being my 1,400th subscriber, and I will be dedicating the Ender 3.0 in your honor as being the 1,400th subscriber. However, I don't want to project too far into the future now, so I'm just going to continue to let the chorus flowers grow into big, strong chorus trees, and then gather up the resources from them and begin to smelt them to get the purple blocks. And when I bring it back, we're going to get our build on. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these structures have been fully renovated so that they have an ancient Mayan look to them. Now let's go ahead and just step foot inside of this structure right here, and let's begin to get our build on by doing some interior design. So I want to keep this pattern relatively simple. I don't want to go over the top with it. However, I also don't want it to look too simple and a little plain and dull and boring looking. So we're just gonna scatter these stairs in an inverted and normal state, along with placing a few low slabs around the area. Now we're gonna have to knock out this low slab so that we can then hop up here and place that normal stair in the way that we want to. And we're also going to have to remove this end rod. So let's go ahead and now hop up and see if we can place the stair down correctly. Yes, we can. And then on the back end, we're just going to place down another inverted stair. And we're going to do the exact same thing over here. This is always a little tricky for me to do in order to jump up and place a stair down in the correct position. But it looks like so far I'm having some pretty good luck with doing so. And then we're just going to place two more inverted stairs on the back end of the end stone bricks that we have in the ceiling right there. So that way we have a little focal point. So when we enter the structure, and if we want to look up, we can see that both of these walls have some piece of it that connects right here in the center. Now, just to add a little color into the ceiling so we don't have all this purple, I'm going to go ahead and throw some shulker boxes. And this is not only to add more color to the ceiling, this is also so that way we can have a little more open space down here to walk around and not have to worry about tripping over any of our storage compartments, nor feeling a little claustrophobic. As you can see here, we have complete access to all of these shulker boxes, and I wouldn't want to place them any lower or any higher. This is what I would call the Goldilocks spot. It's just right. Not too high up, not too low. It's just right. Now at this point, I'm going to get ready to do a live stream where I'm going to construct the Ender 3.0, and then when I bring it back, we'll go ahead and throw down a sign so that way we can make it official and dedicating this monster of a farm to my 1400th subscriber, AUBNI. Now after spending nearly a whole day in real life, the Ender 3.0 has been fully completed. Now, if you would like to check out these streams in which I built this entire thing during, then you can go to mixer.com/Vanillaraccoon and check out the VODs. Now, I will admit that in between the streams, I did lose the endermite that I had captured on camera, so this is unfortunately not the original one, but nevertheless, we do have an endermite sitting within a minecart, and we won't be able to get too close to see, but he has been name tagged, and I name tagged him AUBNI. So now that we've been sitting up here at least for roughly 5 minutes, give or take, I want to go ahead and begin to descend the ladders. Now, as you can tell, we have a wooden pipeline, if you want to call it that, going from this area all the way back to the obsidian platform, and this is actually going to be my little choo-choo system that will take me to and from the area. When I was scratching my head and trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to get to and from the Ender 3.0, I couldn't help but think to myself, I am a person who prefers old school over new school. And even though we do have beetle wings in Minecraft now, and we could just fly from the main island out all the way out to here, I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and go old school with it and use a minecart system, or as I like to call it, a choo-choo system. So let's go ahead and just quickly walk over here. Now, one thing I have noticed is that the Endermen, once they've dropped down, they will either go to the left side or the right side of the killing chamber right here. And then after we kill them, after a few seconds, a new wave of Endermen will begin to drop down, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. So if anyone who is watching this could be a hero in the comment section and let me know why that is, then 1, I will express my gratitude in the next video, and 2, thank you for at least providing that intel. So let's go ahead and put these guys on the back of a milk carton. Swoosh, swoosh. So we're starting off with no experience whatsoever, and that's because I just want to test on camera to see exactly how much experience we'll get with each new wave of Endermen that will drop down. And just as I said right here, after we kill one round of Endermen, then a new wave will descend from the Ender platform just above. That guy is stuck, so we're just going to leave him be as it is. And I think for the most part, that's going to do it for the Endermen that will drop down during the second wave. So let's put these guys on the back of a milk carton here and now. There we go. So we went from 0 to 15, and now we're going to go from 15 to 21 maybe. I'm going to take a wild guess and go with 21. We're currently at 20. Okay. And ooh, 22. So we went from 0 to 15, and then from 15 to 22. Let's wait for the last wave, well, the last few Endermen from the next wave to fall down. Those guys are just going to idly stand around. So why don't we go ahead and now put this wave on the back of a milk carton. Swoosh and a swoosh. There we go. And let's just step away from the killing chamber for a moment as we begin to watch these guys descend from above. Wow, that's a lot jumping down all at once. It's a little intimidating to see. Alright, so we went from 0 to 15, and then from 15 to 21, I think. Yes, and then from 21 to 26. And then, oh, there's no more up there. So let's go ahead and finish off this wave. Now, these guys are, in fact, one-hit kills. But just in case anyone survived the fall to the extent where if we were to slice them with our sharpness 3 fire aspect 2 diamond sword and they teleport elsewhere, then I just want to make sure that I can kill them with said sword. There we go. And he's just going to stick around, and then this should do it in regards to reaching level 30. Yep. Okay. So at this point now, I think what I want to do is just leave this be. I don't want to fiddle around with it anymore unless I want to get some more experience. And what I would like to do now for the remainder of this episode is begin working on my chinampas over on the main island. I think it was in the previous episode, or maybe it was earlier in this one. This is literally the third day that I've been working on this Let's Play, so bear with me in regards to trying to recall something that I once said. But I think it was in the previous episode that I had mentioned that I want to create a proper chorus flower farm off in the outskirts of the main island. But as I continued to think about it, I thought to myself, we're gonna have to go to and through a end portal gateway, if that's what they're called these days. And I don't know if I want to have to go through that. I kind of just want to stick to one area and then begin to farm the chorus flowers and then replant them so I can continue to farm them. Now, in case you were wondering where I had gathered all of that endstone from that we constructed the Ender 3.0 out of, this is where I gathered it from. So what I did was I just mined out the endstone and created a ridge that you can see through all the chorus flowers right here. And then I had a pretty flat leveled out land, and I kind of didn't know what to do with it at first. And then I thought to myself, this is where I'll set up my chinampas. So for those of you who are wondering exactly what a chinampa is, back in the day, the ancient Mayans would create artificial islands within natural bodies of water, or even artificial bodies of water that they had created themselves, so that way then they can grow their crops on it and not have to worry about any neighboring civilizations or feral creatures coming and running off with their goods. Now, as you can tell, within the ridge we do have a few waterfalls, and they are actually stemming from the moats that are surrounding the nearby obsidian pillars. This is something that I thought that would add just a little bit of detail to the chinampas that we have right along here. However, I think at this point now, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. I don't want to sit around much longer and try and figure out what else I can do in this episode, seeing as how, as I stated in the previous segment, this is the third day in which I've been working on it, and I kind of want to move on to the next thing, which is probably going to be setting up this area right here so we can have it look more like a proper battleground. So when we respawn the Ender Dragon, which will be happening fairly soon, then at least we don't have to worry about having all this open land that we can just freely run across. I do want to make it a bit challenging to myself as well, and one thing that I'm thinking of doing just to add a little bit of interest to it is planting random chorus flowers, so that way we can have them grow up to be big and strong chorus flower trees, and then see if that can make it a little more difficult for us to shoot the Ender Dragon with if we were to use some bow and arrows. But that's going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all ever so much for tuning in, and as always, if you enjoyed this episode, then be sure to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, then I invite you to check out the rest of it. But don't forget to turn on notifications when subscribing. That way you will then be notified when future Minecraft and other gameplay content is uploaded from yours truly, Vanillaraccoon. But I would like to wish you all a happy day, and peace out.